Hello, and welcome to a mock booking. This is a mock booking of island hopping in Greece. So I am going to get started by just kind of showing you how I do my research. I booked a few clients now that have done island hopping in Greece. So I've learned a little bit about the different islands that are kind of bigger or more well known for certain types of travel, or interests. Uh, well, the most current one is actually leaving on Saturday, and that is a honeymoon that I booked for island hopping. And that was actually my first one that I had actually prepared since I've done a few more after that. But a lot of fun. Greece is a great place. There's a lot of really great things to see. There's so much to see. You could probably spend weeks there and still not see everything. I think there's over like 40 islands in Greece. There's a lot of little ones. Um, but we're going to go over the main couple that are hot right now as far as, destinations for tourists. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to use Vax Vacations today for this purpose, but I'm also going to preface by saying that sometimes Vax Vacations, um, you know, can be a little more pricey, at least when I've priced out certain things. And when they do the island hopping, they do it with airfare. So it would basically be, instead of taking a boat from one island to the next, it's usually an airport. It's airlines. So if your clients are not into doing that or are more interested in taking boats, I do have a vendor that I've been using. It is not a vendor that we can get uh, commissions on yet. I'm kind of keeping an eye to see if they ever come out with an affiliate link. I don't know of any others that are places where we can get that. If I do find it, I will definitely add to this training going forward. But yeah, so let's get started. So the islands of Greece. I usually start with Googling always first the destination that my clients are interested in, and kind of just kind of get myself well versed in, what's to know. The clients had reached out to me originally and were interested in doing an island hopping from They wanted to start in Athens. They wanted to go to Santorini, Naus, I think is how you pronounce it, Mykonos, and I think they also wanted to try Paros. But being with their time constraints and budget constraints, we weren't able to do that. So we basically just stuck with Santorini and Mykonos. But now is also a really big place. It's up and coming. It is one of those places where there's a lot of partying that goes on. It's very hip for young people right now. So that's definitely something to, take note of. Is that is like a newer, cheap. Supposedly, it's less expensive than some of the other islands, but it's been voted one of the best islands to visit in Greece, recently. So there's been a lot of buzz about it. Let's see. Santorini is more of that beach vibe. There's a lot of uh, volcanic. There's a lot of places to go not diving, hiking. There's cliffs, there's all kinds of mountains. You can go see the volcano. There's a crater there that you can actually see. It's beautiful. It's known for that, though. It's that picturesque. This is what's typical, I think, of when people think of Greece. They think of this, Mamma Mia, with the white buildings and the blue tops. So Santorini is embodies very much the Greek spirit, or the Greek. When we think of Greece, that's what we're thinking of, the Santorini. Uh, there is also obviously Athens. Athens is not an island, obviously, it's part of the mainland. It is cheaper. It tends to be cheaper to fly into there, but sometimes not so much to fly out, because you have to fly from whatever island they end up to the back to Athens. So it can be a little more costly. My clients, I looked at both ways when I was doing prices and everything like that, because they had a sizable budget, but they wanted to do a lot of things. And they were looking, because it's their honeymoon, they were looking at, the top of the line uh, rooms and accommodations. So because it was such a tight budget because of those things, it was actually cheaper for them to fly into Athens and then fly out of it was Santorini they're flying out of. So I'm going to show you basically what I kind of did priced out for them on Vax. So I'm going to go to to the Vax Vacations. I'm going to plug in that we're leaving from, my clients were leaving from JFK and they were going to Athens. And there is an Athens, Georgia, so make sure you put Athens, Greece. And then it was for 2 adults. And let's see. I'm going to put this out a few months. So let's do October 10th to the 17th. Now I'll show you once I add, you can add multiple destinations actually. Let me do that actually first. Let me put a log back in and I'll go. So I'm going to click multiple destinations at the bottom. And it's going to be air and hotel multi-stop. For 2 adults, we're going to be departing out of JFK. We're going to do October. Let's do Tuesday to Tuesday. So we're going to do flying into Athens. And let's spend 2 days there. That's a hard one. It depends on the situation. Believe it or not, even in Vax, you might want to check, especially if people are budget conscious and you're trying to get the most bang for your buck. You might want to check different brands within Vax because I have seen differences in prices between. I know that actually sounds crazy, but that is what I've seen. And then there's certain certain vendors in Vax that are good for certain things, like Blue Sky Tours is Hawaii. Apple is, you could do domestic, you can do Europe. I've done United Vacations has been the best for me for clients going into like Ireland and the UK. Travel and Leisure Go. I think Travel Impressions is also a good one to check out for European vacations and also like the Caribbean and stuff. So it just depends on what you're looking for. I think it also depends on what kind of travel that people are interested in. So my big thing is I always like to make sure that I understand um, exactly how my clients like to vacation. So like if people are partiers, if people like the beach, if people want to, soak in the history, if people are very like into cultural immersion, like that's my shtick. That's what I do with my clients is I try to get to know them and try to plan a vacation like they would plan a vacation for themselves. So that's part of what I do with my clients specifically. So it's, for me, that's a really important thing. So I usually do a lot of research first before I even start planning. And then I kind of will jump around and see, in fact, which ones work best based on the client. Because they also, certain vendors will give you, like certain vendors within Vax Vacations will give you different options for activities. Or you can obviously do Viator for activities or Get Your Guide. There's a few of them that are available. There's Get Your Guide, Viator, Project Expedition. And I think there's 1 or 2 more that have popped up since. But yeah, so, you can see there's certain activities that people can do, like excursions or activities or whatever, however you want to call it, during their vacation time. If you want to book anything, like they have private cooking lessons with wine tasting. They have just wine tasting alone. They have private boats that you can rent and take. They'll have a captain and it's you can charter a boat basically, and there'll be a meal usually involved in drinks. So there's a lot of things you can do in Greece. Those types of things do change from vendor to vendor from what I've seen. I also like to double check too with Viator and get your guide and Project Expedition for other options as well. So let's see. So we'll go from Greece. We'll go to the other thing I always like to pull up too is an actual picture of Greece itself, like so I can see geographically. Although it is tricky to get all of them in actual English for some strange reason. I have to say, I was like, I did not expect that to be an issue. Let's see. So I usually like to pull up a picture of it so I can kind of anticipate. Like, so if they're starting in Athens, it might be easier to go from Athens to, say, Mykonos first, and then now, and then Santorini. And then they'll leave from actually, my clients are leaving from Santorini. I'm sorry, I had it mixed up. They were going to Mykonos first and Santorini. It kind of just depends on their preference. They could also start in Santorini and then jump up to Athens and leave from Athens. You can check both ways. Again, too, the price might change from time to time. So the first one I'm going to do, if I start in Athens, I'm going to actually start with, let's see, we'll do Mykonos first. And then we'll spend 3 nights in Mykonos. And then we're going to add another destination. And we're going to do changes to 2 nights. And then we're going to go to, that was why I couldn't go to, that's part of why I didn't go to Max Vacations. Because Naus, I can't say it right. I never can say it right. But Naus is not available as a city to fly into or out of. You can also, what you can do too is you can just put that you need a flight or you need a hotel. As you notice, I'm checking off rental cars for this particular type of travel because island hopping, it's not really optimal to have rental cars on each island. So it's really better to do taxis. Or, if you get lucky and you can find a good accommodation, you can actually just they could walk some of the way. Obviously, when they're going to their hotel from either the airport or ferry port, you'll want to get a taxi because of baggage, but there might be things that they can walk within walking distance that are totally possible. But it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to rent cars from place to place too, especially if you're only going to be there for a few days. So my clients chose not to do that or go that route. We just had transportation pick them up. So next destination we'll do is Santorini. And let's do 2 nights here. Let's pick another island. Let's make it a whole. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful blue water. So, let's do that. It's crazy. It doesn't look like there's that many islands, but when you get closer, you definitely have. Ooh, let's do that one. It's not an option either. Two roads. Okay. Okay, wait. So obviously with this length of travel, you're gonna want to try to see if you can get a nonstop. Nonstop, this is the perfect one. It looks like a red eye, and they're arriving the next day. So we're gonna select that one. It looks like a good price. It is not. Oh, it is bulk fare. Ugh, bulk fare gets me every time. With bulk fare, it's always important to know that sometimes it's limited to what you can do, like as far as the type of, let's see. Oh no, this is main cabin, so this should be all right. Sometimes bulk fare is like the lowest tier. So I always try to be careful of that too. And there is a hold back up. There is a little warning when you click on bulk fare to understand. And now there it's fine to book it, but I always want to preface with clients that this is what you're getting. Okay, so it is what it is. All of the upgrades are usually not allowed. You might get lucky on certain airlines. They might let you do it once you actually plug in the information into the airline when they do it as clients. Or if you do it for your clients, like a lot of times I will put it in for my clients and because I'll check them in as a service. So if you might be able to do it, not every airline allows it. So if you buy bulk fare and it's basic, there's no way to change it. There's no way to upgrade on it. So just always keep in mind that as well. So we'll select that because that's a good one. It's an overnight. Sky Express. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Oh, that's why, because these are the local ones. This is the island hopping. That's why I'm like, what? I've never heard of that one. So obviously, like as you can see, if they do choose to do the route where they take an airline from one island to the next, or from Athens to the first island, the travel time is pretty short. It's usually like about 45 minutes. I've never seen I don't think it's been more than like an hour or maybe 50 minutes between. So it's a relatively short trip, and obviously you can change. This is published fare. Let's see the pay. Let's preview the C chart. Because it's such a short trip, it's probably fine. Let's just check that. So, so obviously with Bax, you're always picking air first, which is why it's asking me to pick flights first. So you always pick air first and then you go into accommodations. Yeah, see, it's like there's a layover. Let's see. Okay, apparently there's only two options. So this will probably be the longest. And that's because Mykonos and yeah, so if you see on the map, Mykonos is where is Mykonos? Not even on here. Mykonos is, I believe, over here. And then Santorini is down here. So it's a further travel, further trip. So that will explain why it's 2 hour, but it's also 35 minute layover. So let's see. They're both about the same time. Let's do this. Let's do a little bit later in the day. Layovers, this is killing me. Do this one. Okay. And the last leg of the trip, we're going to just pick our next flight. They're all about the same time, which is weird as one. Oh, because of the. All right. All right. So now you can get into changing accommodations out. We've picked all of our flights. Um, and this is a decent 10-day trip. All right, so now let's get into the actual hotels. So what you can do in Vax Vacation when you're looking at destinations, you're going to click on hotels. And obviously then you can go and check different options for accommodations. It's also important to note that it is common practice in Europe that starting rooms or the lowest room a lot of times could be twins. So keep that in mind depending on who you're having travel. Um, so they will give you enough beds for everybody or enough sleeping arrangements for everybody that the room is listed to sleep. But if you have like a couple, like my clients that are leaving on Saturday, they are going on honeymoon. They're not going to want two twin beds. Let's be honest. So I had to definitely go in and search it out. So that's common. That is very common in Europe is to see twin beds or singles. It'll be listed as a single or a double, which a double is just like I believe actually what it is. It's just a double bed. So if people are picky or if you think that is not going to be something they're used to, then I would try to seek out king, a king, any kind of accommodations that say king, because obviously the beds, sleeping in a twin might be reminiscent of your college days, and who wants that, especially on a honeymoon. So let's see. Then I actually think I chose this one. Just double check. I think I went upgrade. I went up to the king bed. I'll look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, you can go in and change it to the other downside of using Vax Vacations is I feel like it's always very slow. Okay. So now Mykonos is more of like a B2 vibe. It's the opposite. Goodness. It's been a very stressful day. My son woke up with a very swollen eye, so all right, let's see. Yes. I'm sorry, Mykonos is more of the party scene. So let's look at, and you can also select, there are some adults only, especially on certain islands. There's a few of them. You can always check on that as well to see because sometimes that might be what your clients are looking for. If they're not traveling with children and they want to have, a different experience, that might be a good option for them. So let's do our Santorini vacation. And let's look at beachy because Santorini is more of that beachy location. So you want to kind of up look at this. Ooh, that's very nice. Nice. Now, see, I don't know about you, but when I'm thinking beach, that's what I'm thinking. A beach resort. Let's do that. So what you can do also too to kind of take a look at the different options for rooms is in Vax Vacations, you can also always press this. For some reason, Vax is kind of fighting me right now. I don't know why. There it is. All right. So you can see the different options for rooms. So let's do this one. Okay. And obviously, you can always add in activities and features. You can click on that and see where there are options, what the options are for them through Vax Vacations. But like I said, most times you get better pricing when you go through Viator or Project Expedition. So I would recommend going there. And I also usually do the Tin Leg vacation insurance. I don't do the vacation insurance through Vax Vacations just because I find that Tin Leg is more extensive coverage. So I feel like because it covers so much more, and I think it's really clear what it covers, I prefer that as well. And I think it's usually pretty reasonably priced as well. So I'll usually put it all in to Tin Lake and then get our vacation insurance through there. That's personally what I do. What, you obviously whatever works best for you and your clients, that's totally fine. But I usually, whenever I'm working with new agents, I usually recommend that they always search out Tin Lake and make sure because that's very comprehensive insurance. And I have a nursing background, so I always am very aware of, when there's like gaps and things. If like, especially with medical emergencies and stuff, I usually read that stuff real close. Like, I don't want just if we're going to pay for any kind of insurance for trips, I always recommend because I have known quite a few people to have medical emergencies on trips, and if they're covered from in their insurance, I guarantee you they'll never forget that, and they'll be very grateful to you. So, because those types of things do happen, and I always like to make sure the clients are covered. So, just keep that in mind. Let's see. That is a nice. Oh, I like this. Ooh, lots of good stuff on this one, actually. Oh, look at that. And there's two doubles and a single. Let's see. Right, let's choose that. All right, so that's a pretty good vacation for 10 days to Greece. That's not bad. And that is obviously does not include insurance or anything like that, but that's not a bad price. For two people to go to Greece right now, that's a reasonable deal. And then you still have, if you say they have a $10,000 budget or 5,000 per person, um, there's still a decent amount of money to do some really fun excursions. So this is what, and then obviously you can always play around with booking and increase by percentage or dollar with vacations, which is always nice. Let's see, let's set it to this. Yes, that's not a bad line. That's not a bad take home for us either. And that didn't take very long at all. We've got some beautiful options for hotels. Everything is pretty much soup to nuts. They're going to be going from Athens to Mykonos, from Mykonos to Santorini, from Santorini to Rhodes, and from Rhodes back to JFK. So that's really not a bad trip for two people. Really good deal right here. That it was definitely a lot higher a few months ago, back in January when I first did it for my clients, and we weren't able to get this many destinations, so that's pretty good. And like I said, you can go in, we can do, let's see, we're going to buy a tour and it's expired. No, what you talking about? I don't know why, but Viator always fights me. Well, I don't use it anymore as much. I use Project Expedition more often. So let's see, Mykonos. Actually, we'll start with Athens. 9th, let's do August 10th. I mean, sorry, October 10th. So let's do October 10th. Let's see. That looks like a good. Let's see. There you go. Do this one. Perfect. So there's 4 places remaining, and then we would add that into our price point, and go on and so forth. So if you go into obviously Greece, you can go into Greece, and then you can search by area. And then we'll go to Mykonos and see like there's a lot of different, there's private tours and such. There's snorkeling you can do. You can also do, there is some beach, some off-roading stuff you can do there as well. There's lots of beaches in Mykonos also. It's just Mykonos has definitely got more of a club scene. So there's like a lot of famous DJs that go there and such as well. So, but they have cooking classes, private cooking classes. They have catamarans you can charter. You can do all kinds of different things here. There's a lot of really fun things to do in Greece for all different demographics. You can do a whole small group cooking class. Um, they have the cruises, all different cruises, and so on and so forth. And then Santorini, let's go back to Greece. Attractions. So they have a wine tasting there, sunset tours. So I would definitely do your excursions or activities that you're offering to your client on Project Expedition. I would do if you're going to do vast vacations. Um, I definitely recommend it. So yeah, this is what I would do for a client who's looking to island hop in Greece and kind of hit all the major places. All the things that people want to hit when they're going to Greece. The major islands, Santorini, Mykonos, those are like the top ones that are most common right now. Um, Rose just looked pretty, so I've decided to try that one as well. So it's a busy one. It's a lot of fun, but it looks like it's going to be fun filled. And so I try to always usually when I'm island hopping clients too, I try to give them a few days. So like 2 or 3 days, like minimum. I wouldn't do like one day in each place because I feel like that would just be cramming too much into it, and you really don't get a chance to really absorb any of the area. So I definitely recommend at least 2 to 3 days. Try to push the 3 if you can. Obviously, if time constraints are a thing, it's understandable. Also, too, another consideration when you're booking Greece and you're doing island hopping is going to Crete. Crete is another place that one of the larger islands, and Croatia is also one of those up and coming places, and it's in that same region. So if you're flying that way already, and people have a few weeks that they want to do this and really soak in as much as they can, you can also recommend like Croatia. So yeah, so that is my mock booking for island hopping in Greece and for 2 adults to island hop, flying from place to place. We are looking at price package total of $6,249.69. And that is with a almost $500 commission. Plus, I would also throw in my itinerary, some options for each of the islands for an activity for each island to do while they're there as well. So that is what I have for you today. Does anybody have any questions or do they want to see anything?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get my thingy
Oh,
unmuted.
no worries, no worries.
I'm just like, don't go away. When you do your commissions, your booking administration,
Yep,
in an itinerary, so if you send them a quote,
it
what
won't show it.
it does not show it.
No, you can actually print the itinerary. You can click print itinerary. You don't have to actually print it, but you can see what it will look like when they actually email it to them. So it'll
Okay.
just put the balance due. If there's a down, like if there's a deposit, it'll put the deposits due here, and then full payment is due here. It won't actually put the commission rates for
Okay.
Vax Vacations. So I don't usually send them the itineraries out of Vax Vacations or Apple or any of them, just because I like to put it all in one place. So what
Right.
I will do is I will put it into my CRM, which I use TravelJoy right now. I am hoping to upgrade to Travefy, but right now I'm using TravelJoy. So I'll add all of my information into there. It does take a little bit of time. It's not seamless, but I like the fact that it's an all in one place, and then I give them usually a couple of options. So I'll
Mhm.
do like maybe three different options for different accommodations. If they are sure that these are the islands they want to go to, I will just give them differences of accommodations and just throw in options for excursions for each island. And I might just throw in different things. But like I said, I usually try to really listen to what people are looking for and then kind of
Mhm.
give them options and then work with them to find exactly what they're looking for. Like I give them the quote as a starting off point, and then I will kind of, especially with honeymoons, I tend to give them a little bit more attention because I want it to be perfect as possible.
Right, right.
I find honeymoons to be that option, that opportunity where you can make a client for life if you do it right. If you do that trip right, you will literally have them for every anniversary trip, for every family trip going down the line. If you can make that client there, then you have them for life theoretically. So I try to tend to put a little more effort into the honeymoons.
Yeah. So do you when you do the booking administration, so that is on top of the commission that you also get from Vax, correct?
So this is your commission. This would be your commission, and then you can change it. You can increase it. So you can either increase it by dollars. So
Oh,
like
okay.
say you want to increase it to, 500, you can put in like, let's see, what's the difference?
2160, no, 2146.
Six. And then you can set it. Oh, say it'll be from
Oh,
that. Let's see. So for argument's sake, let's do 4307. I think that will bring it up to 500. Oh,
close enough.
wow, so close enough. But yeah, so if you increase it to, let's see, let's just do 50. So then it brings you up to, yeah, you can make it work so that this way, and it won't say it on there. It'll never actually say it on there. You just hit
Right.
your permission and it'll increase the package price. Um, yeah, you can always upgrade. If people are really budget conscious and you're willing to do it, you can leave it as is for the normal, and then
Mhm.
whatever that commission is, we get 80% of that. So
Right.
that's and you can work it out so that this way you can figure out, right, how much do I have to increase this to get 500 for myself.
Right.
But yeah, you can definitely always go. I always encourage people to go in and play around with it, especially if you have a good number, like for a trip to start. Sometimes Vaxifications, it just depends. It's for me, I have had times where I've searched the same trip on Vaxifications and then I did it somewhere else and it was cheaper somewhere else. So it just depends on the time frame. I think it depends on the time. It depends on the type of trip. So I usually kind of will jump between a few different. Like it's all inclusives. I usually go back Vacation Express, and I'll go to Vax Vacations, and obviously I'll do like sandals. Um, but with regards to like these kinds of trips where you're putting things together in an itinerary like this,
Uh-huh.
um, or multiple destinations, I usually start with Vax Vacations just because it's the most user friendly for doing different locations and adding different destinations where you can do island hopping. So it's usually where I start for that type of trip.
Cool. And if you're doing island hopping now, you said, do you have a vendor that you've used before that does the boats, to take a boat from place to
Yeah.
place?
So
Um,
that would be CJets. CJets is that's how you can island hop. So it makes it pretty easy to book it. You can just actually add different destinations and you can choose the dates that you want to do it. The only downside of using it is that you don't really get a commission out of it, but it doesn't take much to book it. So if you're already you can make up for that in your booking administration
right.
fee and make up for that there. But it's pretty easy to book them and it's pretty straightforward to check them in and everything like that. So and they're usually pretty reasonable. They're pretty inexpensive. And there's different options. So we can do, let's see, Athens to Mykonos, and then we'll do Mykonos, the dates. So we would be hopping on the 11th, right? Let's see. And you can always remove these. Like if
Right. Sure.
you can remove these out. I believe it doesn't actually remove yeah, see, it doesn't actually remove the locations, it just removes
Right.
the actual hopping. Let's see. So we can do, that's what I was doing. I'm just using this to see the dates. So the 11th, we could go into Mykonos. Okay, and that's for two people. And you can drive cars on. So if they did want to, start at Athens, rent a car, and then island hop, it would cost more, obviously, but
Right.
if they were set on having a car, you could do it that way too. You can actually do that with the Sea Jets. Let's see. So Mykonos, we are going then to Santorini. That is going to be on the 13th. And then Santorini to Rhodes. Ooh, Rhodes might not be on here. Yeah. All right. So you could always keep that. You could do
Right.
half of them too. Uh,
Do like a combination.
exactly. So, and obviously it's always in pounds, but you can see the difference.
Oh yeah.
So it's still I mean, Athens to Mykonos is like a 45-minute flight, but it might be a nicer experience to take a boat. So,
Right.
if clients are wanting to take that option, you can definitely give this to them. And like I said, the only downside is right now there's no options for affiliates so that we can't get a commission. But it's a good option if you need someone and it's a good name and the prices were reasonable. You can go. I think Project Expedition does have like tours, not tours. They have boating trips, like cruises and stuff. So there could be
Hmm.
like day cruises if they wanted to stay in one place and then just go to other islands around them. They could do that as well if they have their heart set on that.
Hmm.
But this is the best way I found to do the island hopping with the boats is Sea Jets. Like I said, if I can find another vendor that would offer that, sadly, I'm shocked that Vax Vacations doesn't have that as an option, but I wasn't able to figure it out.
Okay.
And I didn't see there. So
That's cool. Thank you
yeah,
so much. This has been super helpful.
you got it. And I love Greece, honestly. After planning the first trip, I was like obsessed with the location, like with just the locale. So I just started to get more into it and I was able to plan a couple more trips for other clients. And it's just the more I get to know it, and right, like I said, tonight my brain is not as clear as it usually is because I had some ma- my son is 1 and he fell
Oh, well, there you go.
he fell on Monday and then he face
Oh,
planted, and then today he woke up with a very swollen eye and ended up being a bug
oh.
bite. So I'm just I'm tapped out for my brain power. Um, when we were at the pediatrician this afternoon, they were like, we might have to send him to the emergency room for IV antibiotics. So I was like, great. So
Oh.
in my head, I was like, I am not in the place to do this. But I was like, you know what? I'm really excited about doing it. So this is a fun training for me. I was really excited to do this. And I was like, this is good because I love Greece. I think it's such a beautiful place. It's definitely on my bucket list of trips. I've never been, but I've had a lot of fun planning other people's trips.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list as well. And actually, I've got a potential client who wants to spend 12 days in Greece next year. So, an island hop.
Yeah,
So, this was just perfect timing for me because I'm trying to
perfect.
get her. So, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I really appreciate you.
Yes. No, absolutely. I'm so glad you got some value out of it, and I hope it helps. And if you want to find me on Facebook and just follow me, if you ever have questions or you have, questions when you're trying to plan or anything like that for that client, I'm always a Facebook message away. I'm happy to help wherever I
Th-
can.
Thank you so much. I hope your little boy just feels better and better every day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope so too.
Thanks, honey. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right. Take care. Bye bye.
All right, so I just wanted to add this quick little blurb on at the end. I was able to, after some research, find a company that we can sign up for as travel agents, or get an affiliate link. It's called Ferries in Greece. I'm going to show a screenshot of the actual homepage and then I'll show you where to find the affiliate link. Thanks.